Welcome back to The Race. I'm Chris Stewart. We're here in Seattle, outside of Amazon's headquarters. This company, one of the major players, when it comes to using robots. In fact, they use more than 100,000 robots in its warehouses across the country. Now, the development of that type of technology, it does have some people worrying about the safety of their jobs long term. Corey Rangel is in Las Vegas with workers likely to be hit hard by robotics.
I think this is cool. I've never seen anything like it.
In Vegas, something is always new and flashy and fun.
The Tipsy robot is shaking up things in Las Vegas. These two robots are bartenders. They make drinks from the menu and can even make custom ones. If you look around Vegas, you'll see more and more machines doing the job people once did. Robots deliver room service to your door.
Breakfast is served at Zen Kitchen on the 3rd floor.
This robot greets guests and tells them about hotel amenities. And this bank of kiosks are set up to check in guests. Several studies show Las Vegas is one of the top cities in the U.S. in danger of losing jobs to automation. Nevada's largest labor union saw it coming and started working on a way to protect workers.
Okay, this machine gonna replace me. No, how are we gonna learn to use that machine?
Gioconda Arguello Klein is with the Culinary Workers Union, which represents about 60,000 hospitality workers. Last year, the union negotiated a new contract. If a machine could take away a worker's job, the contract requires casinos to pay for job training so the worker can learn a new skill and move into a new position or be offered severance pay.
The goal is people learning something new, not to eliminate a lot of jobs.
Mark Murrow is with the Brookings Institution. He has studied job automation and says restaurant and hotel workers are most at risk. While those jobs may start to disappear, Murrow points out automation has also created work.
We've been in a period of intense automation for 40 years, and the total number of jobs in America has gone up.
The owner of Tipsy Robot, Reza Valanajad, says his business is generating jobs.
Yes, you for your business gonna, pay less people, but the other company has to hire more people in order to making those robots.
In Las Vegas, I'm Corey Rangel reporting.
Now, in many ways, the idea of what a job is has changed. The typical 9-to-5 is somewhat a thing of the past. Now, for many people, it is a grind to make ends meet, and the ones we talk to say that sometimes it takes more than just one job to make it happen.
First started driving for Uber and Lyft because I, right out of college, started working as a musician for a record label in Seattle, and I kept doing this because I eventually just started making music about it.
How hard is it to make ends meet working in the gig economy?
It's very hard. I mean, I've made under minimum wage for years, and it comes down to your expenses. Like, for example, this car recently had like an inverter failure. It's like a $3,000 repair, and it's just like a faulty Prius.
And that's out of your pocket?
It's out of my pocket, of course, and every year I've calculated my own taxes. I make closer to like $8 an hour.
Why do you still do it?
I still do it just because it affords me the flexibility to pursue my music stuff, and honestly I do it because I want to fight for the rights of the workers and for it to be a better job.
One job just doesn't seem to cut it anymore.
Oh yeah, one job does not cut it anymore. There's a reason why most people I know and have multiple part-time jobs.
For you, it seems like you take it as a full-time job. What would you say to someone to say, well, this was just meant to be a side gig?
Yeah, for the people that are actually doing it, like people who English is a second language, or immigrants' jobs, tell that to those people where it's really hard for them to get work otherwise.
What do you think the future is of the industry of having a job through pretty much your phone?
I mean, I hope it looks like groups of workers actually sitting at the table with these tech companies and going through the data they have about their workers and about us and creating some sort of fair system where we can be paid fairly. I have to be hopeful about that because there's tens of millions of people around the world, living off these jobs.
Now, hourly wages might not mean much if you make tips. In fact, in some states, people only make $2 an hour plus their tips. The idea behind it is it all evens out. But our animator Nick Rafferzo is showing you why it doesn't, and some strange policies might be the reason why.
You're at a restaurant, you get your bill, and you leave a lousy tip. How much money did your server make? There's a good chance they actually lost money. Not all states pay their servers the federal minimum wage, and because restaurants distribute tips differently. Let's start with tipping. Restaurants follow two main models: pool tips and tipping out. Pooling tips is a team approach. Everyone's tips go into a pool at the end of the shift. Anyone who's eligible for tips get a cut. Tipping out is the most common model. It is more of an individualized approach. Servers collect tips from guests, then tip out other employees who help them help you. Think bartenders, bussers, hostesses. Different jobs get a higher percentage. Some states pay tipped employees way below the federal minimum wage. Tips are supposed to bring that wage up to the federal minimum. But it only takes one bad tip to bring that average down. And when that happens, restaurants are supposed to pay tip credits. Whatever it takes to get the employee's pay up to $7.25 an hour. Sometimes restaurants just don't pay fairly. The Department of Labor estimated the service industry owed $39,800,000 in back wages in 2016.
Is unemployment really at record lows for minorities? We're going to go beyond the numbers on that, and why some baby boomers are now working later into life. All that and more when the race continues from Seattle.